Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on the this and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us each and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast, Facebook Live, and LetGoRadio.net. Looking forward to seeing you there.
What's up, everybody? It's D to the J with the rollaway, and we are live and 1 minute early for another exciting episode 111. Oh, thank heaven, for my CP does not define me. It's D to the J with the rollaway, and we are here with a very special guest. And I brought Miss McCormick in on this one. She's been on my show for, gosh, many years, many times. Kyle's been there too. We were trying to get the three amigos tonight, but we're keeping Kyle in prayer. He's going through a lot. So just wanted to have a big shout out to Brother Kyle. We love you, brother. Hope everything goes okay. Now, there's a couple things that I want to comment on in this show. This is not going to be your happy-go-lucky My CP show. Not today. We are live on LetGoRadio.net. We are live on the Disability Global Broadcast. So I'm going to try to keep it somewhat clean. Okay. But I will tell you, my filter for today has been somewhat abolished because I have realized in talking to Christina that this show has needed to be on the air probably 2 out of the 3 years that I've done this show.
Yeah, I would agree. This topic is something that's important to be said, not just to people with CP, but to everybody. It's what we're going to talk about is something that can be very, very limiting. And it's definitely a topic that needs to be discussed and things need to be said because I don't think people realize the changes they need to make. I'll put it that way.
Now, you'll notice in the title we have Who Cares? Now, we're probably definitely going to need a part two on this, but I'm going to try to cover as much as I can. Hey, Tony. Hey, Cindy. Thank you for joining in with us. We really appreciate you. If you're here with us and you haven't commented yet or your comment hasn't shown up yet, please comment and let us know who you are, how you are, and where you are commenting from, because we always love to welcome people to the show, and we are very happy to have you. Now, when you think about the topic, who cares? Hey, Thomas, how are you? There are so many things that come to mind, and this is such a broad topic, as it were, that I'm going to break this down. Now, you'll see me go into a funny moment because I'm trying to keep myself from screaming my head off, because it's very difficult to talk about this without getting very emotional, because my parents raised me to fight for myself. My parents raised me to defend myself, but my
Amen.
parents
Same.
were always there for me. They never put me down. Here it comes. they never they never told me you can't. They never told me you won't. They said we love you. They said you're good enough. They said you are great at what you do. You always see people for who they are. I can't read the comments without my glasses. Damn it. Here we go. Back on they go. So I just want to say thank you to my mom and to my grandmother and grandfather and brother. God rest my mother and grandfather. Grandmother, grandfather as well. But there's a two part to this. Really, there's three parts that I want to cover, possibly four. But when you think about the who cares syndrome, and I call it a syndrome because a lot of people with any type of problem, when it gets bad enough, the question comes up, does it really matter? I can't change what I'm in. Okay. And a lot of people get into the I can't change what I'm in. So let's ask my sister over here, what do you think of when you hear who cares? And let's go with that.
Well, I think a lot of people fear change. So the who cares comes from feeling stuck and not being sure what to do or being afraid to do anything, being afraid to take that leap to change. So you just sit there like, well, I guess this is my life now,
Yeah.
and it's not, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but it's about, for me, it's about putting yourself outside of your comfort zone and saying to yourself, I need to make some changes, and I'm the person that has to act for that to happen. And that is not something that people do easily at all.
You see why I love to have her on the show? She took exactly what I wanted to say and she compacted it into a couple of statements, but she used some very powerful words. She says, I need to make some changes for me. Okay. What we're going to talk about today is realization. Okay. That is the first part of this who cares syndrome. You can be in a situation where I hate my job. I've been doing this job for 14 damn years and the boss don't like me and I don't get promoted and the employees don't like me and Sarah over there going to go say something about my mama and Peter over there going to go say something about my grandmama and I've been going to this job from 9 to 5 every day, all day long, and I just can't take it no more. Okay? So you get into that repetition of doing the same thing over and over and over again. Now, Christina is a teacher, a very good teacher, a Spanish teacher. Teachers are overworked and underpaid. Help me, Jesus, because here we go. I told you to filter. Just, wow. I'm just, look, I'm
just
talking,
ripping the Band-Aid off.
Literally, daycare teachers, man, working with kids, little snot-dwelling, slim-flossing kids that just...
I don't do that. I can go to the bathroom all by themselves.
All them kids spewing stuff everywhere, getting RSV and PCD and AME and all them diseases and all that stuff that you got everywhere. And you got to wear a mask and gloves and don't touch anything, cleaning up poop and pee. No. But there are people that do that, and they spend their lives doing this job because they love it, because they're good with kids, because they love to be with them and to hold them and to train them and to mold them into great little people, because it starts from straight down here. And I'm going to tell you, kids, I don't care if you're adopted. I don't care if you're from Mars. I don't care if they dug you up from the ground and you part alien with 6 arms, 4 tentacles growing out of your forehead. I had 7 of them trimmed off. We ain't even going to talk about it. Hey, Kim, how are you? I just want to tell you that this is something that is very dear to me. When you have a position in life and you are a teacher of some sort, you are valued. Okay. Now, so we talked about realization. When you're in what I would like to call a funk, for a better terms, when you're tired of what is going on in your life and you realize that you're tired, I don't like what's going on. I don't like this, this about me. I want to change this. I want to make this different. There are certain steps that you can take. One of the first things that I like to do, and we'll go to Ms. McCormick over here for the full info on her side, but I like to make a list of the pros and cons of what's really happening. What do I like about the situation I'm in? We're talking about the job now. The job. We're going to get to the home in a minute. The job. What do I like? What don't I like? What can I change? What can't I change? Okay, so I make a list. When you work for a person or a boss, you have to do what they say, yes and no. Okay, they make the rules. It's that kind of, you got to work for somebody. When you punch a clock, you got to work for somebody, and that's the sad part about working. You got to work for and you're good at it. You're good at it. Love your job, especially your little girl, our little girl. But we're gonna fix that. But that's okay. It's one of those things. Again, when you're good at your job and you're devoted to it, you would do anything for it. Christina loves her kids. I'm in high school. You put me in a high school classroom, Lord Jesus, I'd end up walking probably the first 20 minutes going, I can't take it, and pulling my hair out. Do you, when you don't like something, Christina, or you notice something is wrong with the professional work environment acid fly. What do you do to solve an issue?
Well, that's a big question. There are some times when you have to smile and nod, because it's your job and that's what you've got to do.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I mean, there are things that are out of my control, but I always try to keep a positive attitude. And again, focusing on the things that I can control. Like, I can control what's going on inside my own classroom. I can't control what other people do.
Oh, I love that.
That's the nicest way that I can put it. And this is not me complaining. I'm just saying in any job, there are certain aspects of it that you cannot control. Okay. And it's about realizing that you have to find joy in those things that you can control and understand. Sometimes it's about going back and understanding why I decided to do this job in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got some sweet kids that remind me of that. When a student finally understands something, that's a moment of, and this is why I do that job. Or last week when a student told another teacher that, quote, if anybody messes with you or Miss McCormick, there's going to be problems because you two are my girls.
Mm-hmm.
And the other teacher tells me, and I said, can you tell me who it was? And she told me, and I said, wow, so we're her girls, huh? Okay, I'll take it. I don't mind a bodyguard.
Now, let's go one step beyond that. Let's say it's an issue that you can control. Let's say it's an issue that you have. What are, in your environment, what are some things that you can do to diffuse an issue that you have with somebody, or if you have an issue with something that you're going through?
Well, I mean, if it's something that's out of my control, there is a certain amount of avoidance that you can do. Let's just say, for example, that there was an issue with another coworker. I'm not saying that there was, but there is a certain amount of separation that you can have, and you can say, so-and-so is toxic. I'm just not going to, I'm not going to be around this person if I don't have to be. It can be a cordial work relationship, but you don't have to submit yourself to, some of that toxic negativity that goes along with it. You don't have control over what that person does, but you have control over how you handle it.
Exactly.
And not exposing yourself to that,
So that's the first level right there. She said, notice if it's a toxic relationship between you and a co-worker. Not saying that it is, but that's the first level. When they do something that they're not supposed to do, your next level, and see if I can't move this forward a little bit, is to go to an employee and say, you send an email, you talk with that person, you have a mediator, you say, this happened, I don't agree with how this happened, this is what my side is, this is what her side is, and you have the person talk about it. Then you can go above that. Or a boss. If it is somebody that you have a problem with, you always have options to let that person know, you cannot do this to me. You don't have the right to say that to me. Sexual harassment in the workplace is a no. And I will say this on the air. If anybody goes after my people, my gloves are coming off and my butt-kicking shoes are getting put on, my black belt's getting tied, and I'm going to ring some, never mind. We're just going to leave it at that.
No, I just think in any negative situation, people have to understand that they have rights, but you cannot be a complete pushover about these things. Like, you have to advocate for yourself and say, hey, this is wrong, and I'm not going to sit here and just take it.
Sure.
And I think there are a lot of people who think, oh, well, maybe they didn't mean it that way. Oh, and you make excuses for these people because, there are aspects of your situation that you enjoy, but that does not mean that you sit and take the abuse,
Now, let me say this first, too. If you have a problem with somebody, go to that person first.
Yeah.
Before you do anything, before you call the ASPCA, the PCP, the BCDAB, all them abbreviations, the SWAT team, we're going in, take it down. No. talk to that person first. Okay. It really depends on how, and Christina mentioned this earlier, there are aspects that you can't control, and there are aspects that you can. No matter how bad a situation, I had a situation today. My girl asked me, "Are you frustrated?" No, baby, I'm not frustrated. I'm frustrated with how you're being treated. I'm frustrated with how this happened. Okay, this is a little bit of another issue. But the problem is when you get into an issue that you don't like, you can still control yourself and be a good person during that issue. Okay, you
Yep.
can still be the same person that you are and don't compromise yourself for somebody else. Now, notice some people are leaving. This is not an issue you want to leave on. You guys are leaving because we're talking about something tough. Life is tough. Okay, when we get to the tough issues and y'all leave, I can't help you if you ain't there. The people that's supposed to be here are here. So I'm moving on up. Okay, I'm just saying that's what I'm doing. We're going with Aunt Louise, going to Jesus. Help me now. But anyway, so that's the work thing. It doesn't matter if it's an employee. It doesn't matter if it's a boss. It doesn't matter if it's somebody. Go to that person first. Talk to them. Write down what they say. Write down what they do. Keep a log. Go to a manager. Go above that. The yeah, there is always issues, but you can work them out. Now, the other part of realization is, let's say, and I'm trying to categorize this as mundane as I can, because I really don't want to call anybody out. That's not what I'm trying to do. Help me, Jesus. Let's say that you're not happy with your home life. You want to drive, or you want another job, or you're not happy with the place you're living, but you think, oh, because I have disability, I can't afford it. You think, oh, I'm with the boyfriend I'm with, and this is all the only person that's gonna love me. I got to stay with him no matter how verbally abusive this SOB is, and I got to just deal with it. No, you don't. Okay, here's the thing. Females and males alike. No one deserves to be verbally abused and take crap the rest of their life. Okay. One thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to communicate with a female. I'm not going to cuss at her. I may say, what you thinking? Okay. But I'm not going to put her down. I'm not going to hurt her. I'm going to talk. Just now, I've had a bad temper. I've had my father's temper for as long as I can remember. But the relationship I'm in right now, I try to remember that when I get upset, it doesn't work for her. When I get loud, it doesn't work for her. So I got to turn back the little knob behind my ears.
Yeah.
You got to take them, and you got
Yeah,
to.
everybody has a different way of communicating, and some people are fine with being yelled at, and I'm a prime example. I'm not. If you yell at me, all that does is make me madder. If you sit down and talk to me about something, I'm going to take you a lot more seriously than if I feel like I'm being attacked.
I like this. I like this right here. I like this comment from Cindy. Some people think that just because you are disabled, you are a pushover, and you can't read. We just have to show them that we aren't. Okay, let me say this, and I could care less about the disability. I don't care what disability you have. Everybody's got problems. You are powerful, and you are something to me. Okay, every person that I've ever had on this show, I asked Christina. I called her at 4 something. I said, Christina, can you help me out? Because I knew who I wanted to have on this show. I was going to do this show by myself, and I said, I can't. I got to have a female up here because I don't want to just man. No, this needs a delicate. You gotta approach it from both sides. You don't eat
Yeah.
the
No,
chocolate.
with a topic like this, it's so broad that you really do need someone to kind of just back and forth with, because there's so many aspects of this that we could cover that we're not going to get to them all tonight, but I think we can get a good start.
I could do a part 6 on this, and somebody will go, "You didn't cover this, this, and this," and I go, "Damn it, I forgot." So here's the thing. All of your thoughts matter. Okay, when you have a problem, don't hold it in. Don't shut it down. Don't cower back behind your wall. I don't care if that's what you're used to doing. You've got to learn the only way that you're going to solve it is to get it out in the open and deal with it. As hard as that's going to be, that's a real issue.
And the longer you put that kind of stuff off, especially if it's your living situation, the more difficult it becomes to find within yourself the bravery to be like, enough is enough.
Yes.
You know, I need to make a change, because realizing it is one thing, but actually taking that action can feel so very impossible for people. And I think that's why people put up with not so great situations for a long time. Just the fear and the uncertainty of making that change will stop them from going any further than, yeah, I don't like the situation that I'm in.
Okay, let me address this comment too, because this is part of what I'm talking about. If you are on here saying "poor me," I'm not with that BS. LOL. All right, there's a time and a place for poor me, because you've got to go through what you go through. The problem is, if you don't change what you don't like about yourself or your life. And one of the classic things with females and males too, I'm not pretty. No one likes me. My nose is too big. My boobs aren't big enough. My butt's not big enough. My butt's too big. My butt's too small. I sit on my butt all day. I don't care. Look, here's the thing. You are beautiful the way you are, and the way you are perfectly made. I never thought I would find something that made me so happy, that made me so joyful on the inside, that I could go yay all the time. Okay, because I don't feel like yay all the time. Sometimes I feel like, how could you? Sometimes I feel like, why would you? Now, if you're in a relationship and there's abuse there, you talk to the person, you tell them don't do that, you let them know this is not going to happen. They do it again, out. Don't stay. Don't be there. You ain't got to put up with that SO stuff. You ain't got to do it. Okay?
Yeah, but see, then there's the other side of it, that the average person takes like 7 times to actually leave. And that's the scary problem right there. You know, I don't know what we do to fix that, because you've obviously realized it, but the follow through, the mental aspect of it is just not there.
That's it right there. What we do to fix that is women, and there are some women that do it, but women love men so much and people so much that they convince themselves it's okay to be abused. I like this. The only difference between men and women are the lower parts. That's very different. That's very true. But for a man to show power about putting his hands on a woman shows me nothing at all. Except that he needs to get his butt beat, and I'll be the one to do it. So step on up. We're going to go out to the woodshed and have a little fun. All right? That's the end of that. Now, there are some males that think, I beat my woman, and she going to respect me. Ain't nobody going to respect you for beating a woman. And I'll be the first to show you I ain't going to respect no damn body beating a woman. So, now there are some women that think they can put their hands all over you and smack you and scratch. Look, ladies, you got them nails for a reason. Keep them to yourself. I can defend myself without hurting a lady. I am not going to hurt somebody, but I'm not going to sit there and let somebody hurt me either. Just letting you know, okay? So abuse on both ends, verbally, mentally, sexually, spiritually, all of it. Stop that mess. If it happens and it's in a relationship and they don't change it, get out. Well, we got children. We got to stay. Listen. I'm going to say this, and this may be a delicate topic, but you don't have to stay in a relationship for children. Because if
I think we got some spam on our comments today.
Yeah, I think we do. Block, thank you very much.
Just ignore those comments.
There we go. Took care of that. So I just want to go to this and be like, look, there's a time and a place for everything, but abuse in any form is wrong. Okay? Parents to children, children to parents. It's wrong. I don't, and I mentioned before, I don't care if you're adopted or not. I don't care if you came from planet Zimbabwe over in the Clutar system. I don't care what planet you came from. I don't care if you were grown in my backyard and you were shaped like a carrot. I'm going to love you for who you are and give you to a bunny and you will live a happy life. Okay? I'm just saying there's got to be a rhyme or reason to everything that you do. Now,
Well,
go ahead.
I might just bring up your next point since we seem to be reading each other's minds today. You know, you're talking about how all this is, you know, just people put up with it longer than they should. One of the other things I wanted to bring up, though, is that a lot of times this can be stemming from a self-esteem issue that a person has, because kind of like you mentioned before, oh, nobody likes me, nobody thinks I'm pretty. Like, you have to have, if you have a low self-esteem, it's, people don't think they're like worth it enough to take the leap. They're just like, well, I'll just sit here because I'm not good enough and I'm not going to be. And they get into this negative space where they don't feel like they deserve better when they obviously do.
So true. And look at the first part of that part. Come on, CP. Stop messing with me today. Look at the first part of that word. Self-esteem. When you look inside that mirror, find something good about yourself. Find something wonderful about yourself, because you are wonderfully made. Now our viewers are jumping up because we're hitting into something that we need to talk about.
And I will use myself as an example here. There was a time where I did not like what I saw in the mirror about 2 years ago when I started this whole journey in physical therapy. And for those of you that know me, if you didn't know, I've been in physical therapy for 3 years. And it started out with a lot of self-frustration, just being angry at myself. Why was I this lazy? Why would I do this? Why am I not better? I'm not good enough. And, you know, now it's come to a point where I've made those changes. I realized that I needed to make a change, and I said, okay, how can I make this happen? And
there it is, right there. That's my next point.
And physical therapy for me was, this is how we're going to make it happen. And I had to take the steps every day to make those changes. And then boom, as I started seeing some of the results that I wanted to see, my self-esteem went up too, because it was like, okay, I can do this. You know, this is all intertwined.
So what Christina just so happily brought up, and did it so beautifully, I might add, is taking what you get and applying it in your life. Okay. The first person that realizes they want to make a change has to be you. If somebody tells you that you need to make a change in your life and you do it for them, that's okay too. I can understand that.
Yeah, but the results of that are not going to be near, you know, if you're doing it because you feel obligated, the results of that are not going to be near what it was if it was.
She took my word.
Intrinsically motivated from within yourself.
Woo, say that again.
It's called intrinsic motivation. If it comes from here, it's a lot better than if it comes from the peanut gallery over here. Because I don't know about you, but when people try to tell me what to do, I don't always like to take that. So sometimes
you got that. What is it? That stubborn streak. Yeah, I know
my
some other people.
Self has to figure it out for myself. And my physical therapist will agree that sometimes they tell me, well, maybe you should do this. Maybe you should do that. But I have to come to it on my own time. And then later on, I'm like, okay, yeah, you weren't crazy. You were right. You know, so-and-so worked. But I still had to come to it on my own terms.
There has to be a point where the realization is all about you. If you want to change something that you don't like about yourself, And I'm not talking about features, your nose, your chin, your ears.
We're talking about all the other deeper stuff.
If you want to change how you look, if you want to change how you feel, if you want to, one of the things that Kim just said, I look in the mirror and say every morning, I'm the best daycare teacher around. That's a start right there. When you get up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you say something positive about yourself, you are starting the day off positively. When you start the day off positively, you're going to put out positive extrails. When you fart, your farts are going to and you're going to go through and they're going to go, that doesn't smell like negativity. That smells like positivity.
Go there. All right.
I feel because people want to, man, another day at work. It only takes one negative thought to start your day off negatively. One of the things about Christina that I love the most, and we've gone through this when she started her 3-year journey, is she was scared to death. And she admitted how scared she was because she did not know the outcome. Let me flash up a big bubble real quick. Nobody knows the outcome of anybody's journey until they go through it. Do you know why? Because it's your journey. You've got to go through your journey to get your outcome. Your
and
outcome.
there are ups and downs in that process too. Nothing is linear, and I've learned a lot from my experience the last 3 years because anybody that knows me knows I like to go from A to B to C. And this journey's been like A-H day, B, C, D. I don't even know what's going on or what day of the week it is, but you just keep going until...
And there are moments where you call a friend and you say, I can't do this. Oh my God, everything hurts. I'm hurting. My back is hurting. My hips are hurting. My knees are hurting. Oh my God. And you slow down and you continue to push through. You have to take rest for yourself. You have to take time for yourself because self-care matters. Diamond Dave Hall, love you, brother. I tell you, this is the point where you get somebody on here that makes a difference. When you have a mentor in your life, when you have someone in your life that makes you feel good from hearing their voice, that can pump you up just by going, you rock, that can pump you up just by going, you're the best fisherman around, that can do these things and see your happy tears come down your face and know what you meant to them as a father, as a son, as everything else. And they have gone through your life with you and helped you step through those doors that you were afraid to go through. When you go on your journey and you realize how powerful you actually are and how much you do matter, that is when you start going, you know what? I'm a competent SOB. And there's a difference between cockiness and confidence. Now we're gonna move a little bit and stay with me, guys, because I want to say this. I was hoping you'd say that. I was waiting for it. Matter of fact, that is David Hall's remembrance to me. Every moment of every day, I've told this story. Pick up the damn box. That is the story of my life. When there's an obstacle in front of you, you have a choice. You can go through it, go around it, or pick it up and throw that sumbitch out the way. Okay, David has been my friend, my brother, my father, my mentor since I was 15 years old, 1998. And going into this, I'm actually glad he's here for this because I want to mention this. And I'm so glad we have so many people right now. This is so freaking awesome. Let me just say that. I want to talk about something that's probably the hardest thing to talk about in my life. Some people don't have the means to get out of a situation. Okay. Some people don't drive. Some people don't have a car. Some people have lived with their parents their entire lives and that's all they know. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But when you're in a situation that does not work for you, that does not, thank you, sweetheart. I'm trying. So hard not to get emotional on this. It is hard for me to see someone hurt because they are downplayed every day. You don't deserve to be here. You don't deserve to eat here. We don't listen to what you say. Children are meant to be seen and not heard. The day you turn 18, you are capable of making your own decisions. Parents may not like hearing that, but that's the truth. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't pay rent if you're living with your mama and daddy. Okay. If you live with your mama and daddy and you're past 18, pay some rent. Help out. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna agree with that. Our parents, do a lot for us.
I want to say this too. 1 second, sis. I'm sorry. When you sometimes rent is all not about money. Sometimes rent is about being there, doing chores, doing dishes, mopping the floors, walking the dogs, taking out the trash, singing to mama when she got a bad day, going in and make them some soup, make them all right. It's gonna be okay because it's gonna be all right. Okay, so I'm not going that way. Anyway, moving forward, okay, everything is not about money. Okay, understand. I'm so glad it helps you a lot. I really am. Oh man. It's hard for me because I see people try so hard and be so genuine and so loving and so respectful, and then they get wiped down like they're speck of nothing. Okay, there's a difference between helping out and too much.
Oh, I can. Yeah,
Go ahead, Christina. Go ahead.
I know some people who are the kindest people, but sometimes I feel like they're expected to do so much more than other members of the family just because people expect them to do that, and because maybe they haven't said no and put a foot down, people are just going to keep using and abusing, and then they act shocked when something changes, and it's like everybody's got their breaking point. And you've got to be really careful to not let kindness get taken advantage of for so long that there's not anything to give.
God, that's see. Oh, my tear ducts getting wet. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm just thinking of several people right now as I'm saying this. Some people other people take advantage of them, and it breaks my heart also because one thing that DJ and I share in common is that we want to help people, but there's also so many situations that we ourselves cannot fix. We can be there, we can talk about it, we can do things like this, but like we said, that change has to come from within, but it also doesn't mean that it doesn't just break the hearts of the people around you when, our hands are tied.
Yeah, let me say this. Okay, if you live with your parents, okay, and you are helping your parents out, divide the income. Okay, divide the bills. Set a budget up. Light bill, cable bill, rent bill, phone bill, heat bill, whatever you got. Set that budget up. Get a little calculator. Type in them numbers. Hit equals. And if you got a mama and a daddy and a daughter, you hit divide it by 3. That means 1/3 of the income you pay. If you got $1,000 and your rent is $500, hey Siri, what's $1,000 divided by 3?
1,000 times 3 is 3,000.
Not times 3 divided by 3. 1,000 divided by 3 is roughly about 333. Okay. Well, actually it's 433 because you get just under 4. So you roughly divide that money. Okay. When you have a budget set up and you know exactly how much you have to pay, that way you're paying your fair share. Now I want to tell you a story about David Hall if he's still up here. I pray to God he is. I was hurting. And when I was 25, 28, I made some stupid decisions with my money. I did some stupid stuff. DJ just bought whatever he wanted, going on the pole, going on the curbs, going to the club, doing whatever I wanted to do. Buying 10, 12 games, not worrying about my bills, messed up my credit. It took me a long time to get my credit straight. I got an 806 credit score right now. Don't mess with me, nobody. My credit is banned right now. But I had to get it there. I was hurting, and I called David, and I told him I was hurting. And I told him the story of what I had done. I'm going to get through this without prayer. Help me, Jesus. This man come to me, and he gave me an amount of money and placed it in my hand and counted and said, you don't owe me a dime. Turn around, hug me, walk out. That I will never forget. I will never forget. For what he did for me that day changed my life. He has changed my life so many times, I can't even tell you. There's so many stories I can tell you about David. I could write a book on him by himself. But there's a difference. Okay, when you do that once, you remember and you never forget what they do for you. Because there could be a time when they may need help, or they may be going through Alzheimer's with their mom or cancer with their dad, and they may need you to listen and hear them cry until they hurt, so they can't hurt no more. They may need you on a totally different level to hold them if they fall. David held me when I fell. I will never forget that moment. I won't ever forget that moment because he was there for me and I was there for him. When he lost his father, I was there for him. I was there for him not just because I wanted to be, but he would have done the same for me. So I don't want people to feel like just because they're on disability or they get Social Security or they get disability that your parents have to get all your money. That doesn't work. You've got to take care of you first. Your bill, your cell phone, your computer, your cable, the things that you pay for.
Yep.
Christina, how long? I think you and I talked a little bit about this. Will you share how you started to budget you came up with your budget and some of the struggles that you had? I think therapy was one of them when you were budgeting that in. How did you come up with your strategy?
Well, it's about looking at what you've got coming in and figuring out what reasonably you can pay towards it a month. You've got to leave money for car repairs. You've got to leave yourself something to fall back on. But money can be a stressful thing. But it's about also realizing when to cut back on some of the things that we don't really actually need. And trying to prioritize some of that for the things that we do need. But I want to echo what DJ said too. The things that you give in your situation don't always have to be monetary. We all have a part that we can play when we're part of a household, a group of friends living in an apartment. Everybody has something that they can contribute, and it's about figuring out what that is and doing your share regardless of your personal situation. You have to work something out.
Now, I want to mention this. I was told a story today, and I'm not going to say who told the story, and I'm not going to say what the story was about. But manipulation is a dangerous thing, and people have a way of manipulating. And when you get manipulated, there's a difference in helping somebody out and then helping them too much. And that's true. You got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them. And that's exactly right. Because sometimes telling parents no is a hard thing because they're your mom and your dad and you want to help them and you want them to be okay and you want them to survive. But you know what? You got to worry about you. And I will tell you right now, if it weren't for people like my mom and David Hall and my brother who busted my butt about saving money and learning how to budget and went through it with me. I had to learn to do it. I had $15,000 in debt. Guys, credit cards will mess you up. Credit cards, all they are is money you don't have. Great point that my brother made. If you ain't got the money in your account, don't use your credit card. I'll pay it later.
Mm-mm.
I spent $1,200 on Christmas. Just like that. I'll pay it later. Interest, people. Most interest on credit cards is 39.39% of the total. 39.39%. Round that BIT up to 40. Okay? 40% of your total. Okay? Just because I have a powerful credit limit doesn't mean I have to reach that credit limit. And when your credit card goes over, all they do is tack on interest on top of that, and you keep paying, and you keep paying, and you keep paying. I consolidated a $15,000 debt, and I was out in 28 months. I worked my CP butt off to get out of debt, and I did it. I borrowed money from my mother, and I paid her back with interest. It took me 10 years to do it, but damn it, I did it. Anybody can do anything they set their mind to. But I want to take this last 15 minutes, and I want you guys to know that you are good enough. You are smart enough. You are beautiful enough to do what makes your dreams come true. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. Don't let anybody tell you you won't. Don't let anybody tell you you are not worth it, because I guarantee you can prove them wrong. And there are so many children, young teens, young adults that take verbal abuse from their parents, their friends, their co-workers. All they do is they pack it in.
Oh, you gotta be real careful with that, because we know what happens when you get to the breaking point.
When you get to the breaking point, all that stuff that you got packed in there comes out, and you take out everybody around you.
Yeah, it comes out in the worst way.
You know, I can remember on Christina's worst day and best day. I've been there for both of them. Now, I wasn't there in person because I couldn't be. But whenever she calls, and there's very few people I do this for. Very few people I do this for. When I say my phone is always on, she's one of them. Kim's another one. My phone's always on. I tell her, you need me, you call me. Some people look at me, you're crazy, man. You crazy doing it. Look, I'm going to do what I want to do with my life. If it comes back and it bites me in the ASS, that's on me. One thing I'm not going to do is let my people get hurt. I will go to bat and I will swing hard for my people. And I got a lot of people I'll swing for. Some people I'll swing at because I just don't like it.
Yeah, you can do that too. I mean, you got to be able to do both. I'm telling you.
You have to determine what makes you happy. You have to determine what makes you happy in your life. Let me break this down in this last 10 minutes. Let me get real and get kind of, you know what, I'm not going to hold the emotions on this. Sometimes your life's got to be about you. So many people spend their life living their life for somebody else. It drives me up the wall when you got a sweet, lovable, innocent person that stays somewhere Because she think, oh, he gonna change. It's all I'm gonna get. Well, he got the house in his name. I ain't got nowhere to go. Honey, you better wake your ass up because you're going to end up dead in the corner one day. You think I'm joking. You need to open up them ears and realize you got to go. People can change. You are right, but they only change if they see that they need to.
Again, it has to come from here. It doesn't come from the peanut gallery over here. That doesn't work.
And you know what I mean by the peanut, but what she means by the peanut gallery, you know, when you're talking and you hear somebody talking, you walk, and you get that shit in your ear. People influence people by talking too damn much. Sometimes you got to stop talking and start listening. And sometimes you got to stop listening and start talking.
Yeah, and not be pushed around just because people think they can.
I know one thing about Christina. Christina will be quiet but for so long. And she got this little button. I ain't figured out where it is yet. But when that button gets pushed, that junk goes off like a rocket. I said, oh shit, that should go duck. Because it don't take long. My mother was the same way. If you make my mama mad enough to cry, move. Because she will take your toe, she will take your ankle, she will take your leg, she will take your knee. I'm gonna tell you, I messed up on my mom one time. Let me tell this story.
And you didn't do it again, did you?
I was in a store. I'm not gonna say what store because I was acting a fool. Mama, gimme, mama, gimme, mama, gimme, mama, gimme, mama, gimme, mama. My mom said, boy, if you don't shut the hell up right now, I'm gonna beat your butt till you can't sit down. Messed me up. I'd been sitting down for 12 years. I knew what I was doing. Sitting down was the only thing I knew how to do extremely, extremely well. My mama said, I'm going to beat you till you can't sit down. I got scared to death. I said, Mama, that's the only thing I know how to do. I'm going to tell you, I went home. I scrubbed the baseboards, the toilets, the sinks, the walls, the dishes. Our house was clean. Hell, I was crawling over scrubbing neighbors' toilets and walls. I was so scared. Look, there's a point of respect. And I want to mention this too while we got a few minutes in the show. Respect is earned, never given. And that's on both ends. That's on both ends, people. Realize that no matter what you go through, realize no matter where you are, you've got to get respect on both ends. And if you can't understand that, check yourself. Because if you're giving the respect and not getting it, the home situation ain't for you. Home situation ain't for you. Some parents talk to their children like they're nothing. Some parents yell and scream and cuss and this and that all day long. You yell and scream and cuss at me. Two things gonna happen. You're gonna get a footrest upside your dome, and you're gonna get a footrest upside your ass. I don't like parents that push people around. That's not right. Now, I don't mind discipline. There's a difference.
That's a different thing.
That's a difference. That's a difference. Discipline is different. You do something wrong, you do the crime, Jack, you got to pay the time. And Jill, too. Jill, you do the crime, you do the time. Not Jill. I love Jill.
Not that, Jill. We love Jill.
And let me just say, I have found out recently how it feels to be happy. I haven't been happy in a long time. Long time. I found out recently what it feels like to be happy because someone realized that I was worth it. Someone realized that I was the person they wanted to be with. Someone realized that they were going to put all their eggs in one basket. And I want to say thank you to that person. I love you very much. And it makes me feel incredibly happy to know that there's somebody out there that feels that way. And I don't mind helping you when you ask me a question. And I will go to bat for you. But when I go to bat for you, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to swing. So if anybody is not there that's supposed to be there, they ain't supposed to be there, get the hell out of the way. Because otherwise, you're going to be the ball. And when I swing for the freaking fences. You hurt my people, you hurt my family, you go after my group, I'm coming for blood. I can be nasty when I want to be. I can also be calm and cool and collected. I think Christina's seen me mad one time. One time. My girl has seen me mad several. But she will say and come back and say, now I know why. Now I understand why. Or I understood why. And I'm not saying I do everything right because I don't.
Oh yeah, none of us do. As hard as we try, you know.
Everybody has cracks in their armor. But when you got somebody that accepts you as you are on both ends, because Kim accepted me for me and I accepted her for her. Yeah, I said it. Everybody get over it. I said it out loud, so what? I don't care. Everybody that don't like it can kiss my big hairy butt. I'm just saying, sometimes you got to realize, and the why took a long time. The why took a long time to come out, and the realization took a long time to come out. But when it finally did, and what happened. I'm not trying to go into a love connection, nothing like that. But I'm just saying, sometimes you got to fight for what you love. Finally, the truth reveals itself, shaking my head.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Well, there it is.
It is what it is. And, you know, some people are going to look at me and go, you have lost your mind. No, I found my heart. That's what happened. Or she found it. So there is somebody out there for everybody. You know, I fought a long time believing that. I fought a long time believing that. And somebody will look at me and say, why would you even, let's see, you don't understand a person's journey until you walk a mile in their shoes, until you realize divorce can be a blessing and marriage can mess you up, or vice versa. It happens. You go through it, you move on. Life is life. The smile I've got on my face is because of a lot of people, but one person especially, because she smiled back. And I ain't saying I just fell for a smile. No, I ain't. I fell for a lot more than that. Yes, you did lose your mind for me. So what's wrong with that? Please explain.
I mean,
in losing my mind, you found it. So you put it back where it was supposed to go. So it's okay. I'll just leave that one. But look, let me say this to end the show. There's going to be a point where you hit an obstacle that doesn't seem to budge, where things don't change.
ooh, okay, momentary interlude. DJ really did hit an obstacle, but it's all right.
There's going to be a point in your life where things don't go right, and you bend your nail back on your desk, and you try very hard not to scream. So you have to take the time to take a breath and say, ow, that really hurt, like a mother. And then you just go on and smile your little smile because your thumb will be okay. I'd like to thank everybody for watching the show. If you'd like to be on the show, please email me at mycpdoesnotdefine.me@yahoo.com. And
I'm sorry, I can't with the Mickey Mouse voice.
Look, Pluto, he hit his thumb. Anyway, it really makes me so happy to see so many people on these last couple of shows. I'm so happy that people have been able to relate to these issues. Turn off the chair. It wasn't the chair, Tony. It was my nail. I hit my nail.
Yeah.
And I just, really thank you guys for being a part of this, for commenting, and for the people out there that are struggling to make that change. Keep fighting. Don't stop. If you see something that needs to be done, use your voice. Okay? Learn, know your worth, and understand that you are more valuable than you realize. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Not everybody knows. Tell the kitty hi. I haven't seen him the whole show. Oh, well.
about that.
Yeah.
He's my little angel kitty now, so. But he was 17.
Yep, he passed away about a month ago, but we love him and we still miss him. But yeah, if you see something that you need done and you know it needs done, fight for it. But be respectful in talking to people. When children talk to parents respectfully. When adults talk to parents, talk to parents respectfully. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It was a tough one, but we're getting through it. Goodness, man. You guys are so awesome. Thank everybody for tuning into the show. Christina, thank you so much for coming on and doing.
You're welcome. I was happy to do another episode. It's been a long while and a lot has been going on, so it was kind of nice to do this again after a long hiatus. And I couldn't tell you how many times I've been on the show at this point because I lost count. But it's
8. You've been on the show about 8, but that's good. You and Kyle have been on about 3 or 4. You've been on about 8. Kyle's been on about 6. So but again, we're going to have a part 2 on this, and we're going to cover what to do when you're in that rock bottom state. We're going to cover how to get out of the depression. We're going to cover
resources that are available.
Resources that you have. We were gonna try to do a 2-hour show, but we just can't do it. And I've got to respect Christina's time too, because she has some things that she's going, and plus she's got to work tomorrow. So you guys mean so much to me, and the 3 amigos and Kyle included, man. I tell you, I could bring Christina and Kyle on this show almost every week because the reflection of my people, Cindy included, Jill included, Lena included, Shayna included, they're my people. I just, when you know me and you know how I think, Christina knew how hyped up I was about this, and she knew how, we do. Yeah, the 3 amigos will be back at some point. Right now, we're dealing with a lot, and we've discussed coming back and doing a 3 amigos show again. But we got to let Kyle get straight what he's got to get straight. Christina's got some stuff that she's got to do. I'm possibly going on Kansas City tour next year with my music. Oh, gosh, whoops. Let me just say this. I've only got about 15 albums left, so anybody that wants to do anything with that, and Christina, if you'll put this in the comments if you can, it's makingmyway.herenow.com. That is the www.makingmyway.herenow. I think it's HEAR now.
Because I'm not logged into my StreamYard, I can't add it to the comments now. Okay. I can add it when we get off.
Okay. That'll be the site. I've also put it on. Well, that's what you're helping me work on there, Tony. So We're working on that. Hey, I know it. Warm up that basement for me. Yeah, we're. Oh my thumb. Oh, ow! I just ripped my nail off. Okay, I'm fine. So there's a lot that I've got going on. The second CD is under production right now. There's so much. Gosh, my public speaking's taken off. My shows are taking off. Fairmaster Games is taking off. I've got some new stuff that's going to come up there. Christina, how can we contact you just in case? Because I know you've got a lot of stuff going on too.
Oh gosh, I mean, I just Facebook. Yeah, you can find me there. And my blogs have been hit and miss. You can also find me at Christina McCormick on YouTube. I do some more in detail updates about the craziness of my life there if you want to jump on for the ride.
When is your next 5K? Or do you have one? You have one scheduled?
About that, I was supposed to have one Sunday, but I'm dealing with a cold hamstring, as DJ knows. So that will be possibly postponed. I mean, I could do a partial, but I'm gonna have to make sure that I am able to do that, and that might be resting for a couple more days. So
one more thing before we end: if you are interested in learning karate from a wheelchair, or if you are disabled and want to learn karate from no matter what disability you have, email me, let me know. Same email. My CP does not define me. I am teaching. I have one student already that I'm teaching, and there is a contract involved. We'll go over all the payment plans and stuff like that. Please do me a favor. Let me know if you are interested. I've been a black belt since 2015, and I have been teaching since about 2017, I would say. So, it's a lot of fun, and it's a great experience for you and for me. So come check it out. Follow Christina. I know she's on Instagram. You're on Instagram too, aren't you?
I haven't really been using my Instagram. We'll just stick to Facebook and YouTube.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys go check her YouTube out. Go check out Kyle too. MyDisabledExperience.com. Actually, My Disabled Experience on YouTube. He has got a lot of great videos. I know he's doing the 365 I Am Awesome, Why I'm Awesome right now. So go check him out. Follow the Three Amigos like page. If you haven't been to it, come check us out. If you guys have questions or you guys have a topic that you would like the Three Amigos to talk about or us to talk about, please let us know, because we're going to get a show back. Bolt Lightning, thank you for being on the show today. Glad to have you. New member Tony, Kim, Crystal, Cindy, everybody that was on the show. Thank you so much. You guys are great. We couldn't do this show without you. We love you. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is E to the J with the Roll Away. So we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for episode 112. And I can't think of anything rhymes with 112. 112 to yourself. Okay, we'll go with that. That's good enough. We'll see you next week for the next exciting episode of My CP Does Not Define Me.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Podcast, Facebook page, and on www.letgoradio.net. Also, if you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, My CP Does Not Define Me, where we post all of our show's episodes in our My CP playlist. As always, I'm your host, Lee the J with the Roll Away. You can't be good, be bad, but be good. We'll see you next week.